YouTube, and welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, then welcome back. And today I'm going to go over kind of maintaining and trimming. This is how I do it. There's not really a right or wrong way, but I just want to show you how I do it. As you can see, my beard's gotten fairly good length to it. It's a little bit wavy at the moment due to having plaited it to kind of get everything together and out of my way today while I was working around the house. So one of the first things I want to go over with trimming is that you want to do it with it dry. Ideally, the best time to trim and shape your beard would be before you get into the shower. And at least this is what works best for me, because I'm able to take and trim and shape, and then all the loose strands loose hairs from where you've cut, you can take and just wash all that out without a huge fuss. So the first thing that I would recommend is taking either a brush or your comb and just going through detangling. If you're just trimming and shaping, what you want to do is more or less just go through like you would in the mornings when you would normally, and when you're getting ready for the day, and go ahead and style it in the way that you normally would wear it. If I don't have my beard put up, it's usually just plain old down. So I've let it go a little bit further than I normally do. That way I could show you, a good before and after on the video. And if you're wanting to wear a beard, it's a lot easier than maintaining a clean shaven look, but there is a certain degree of upkeep that you need to commit to in order to keep yourself looking nice, well groomed, instead of the homeless hobo look. So if you have a short beard, meaning roughly from stubble to roughly about 1 inch growth, or a medium beard, which I generally find as longer than 1 inch, but you take your hand here, and medium beard would be 1 to maybe 3 inches. If you have a short to medium beard, this under neck area. Let's see here. Let me adjust my camera right quick. So this right here, this under neck area, if you have a short to medium length beard, you will want to trim this up because that's going to be visible. Now if you have a long beard like this, obviously you're never going to see it. So I generally don't bother with the neck with my beard, but I will do the tops. Now this here came with the my Wild Willie's beard oil kit that I received a couple years ago now. But the nice thing about this is that it's comb. It's your comb for your beard, but this right here is a guide. And so going back to that neck area, if you don't trust yourself doing it freehand, you can get you one of these things, and you can use this for a guide. So you could go in right here, and then everything that would be below the guard, you would trim that, and that would get you nice clean lines. Same way with the cheek area, this top here, you can set this on here, and then just trim this area right through here to get a nice rounded. I generally don't use this because I tend to like a more angled or straight look to it. So, discussing methods, I generally have I have a cheap Philips Noroko beard and mustache trimmer. You could use for like the tops and around the bottom. You could good old razor. Even though you have a beard, razors are still required for grooming and maintaining. So I will go through here, and like I said, I generally like to make a line right through here, and I will take and shape it with this, and then I'll usually go back with the razor to get everything nice and smooth. So I'll go in with my razor, and I generally just dry shave it with this here, because I'm just doing a real little bit, but I'll go through with the razor just like this. Use the trimmer to cut it down to basically not a whole lot, and then just clean it up with one of these little disposable razors. And you can see right here just that, which I'm just doing one side so you have a clear compare and contrast when I zoom in. What a difference just trimming this top makes in how you look, as far as having being presentable. And so you can see this side is the side that I have trimmed. It's nice and clean. The line of your beard is defined, versus this side where you have all this up through here on up is kind of scraggly. Now, of course, you could let that go a little bit if you grow, good thick facial hair all the way up. I tend to be just kind of scraggly like this. This is probably about a month since I've trimmed all this up, and but you can see you don't have that defined line. You have these scraggly hairs versus neat trimmed edged. So I'll go ahead and trim this side up, and then we will move on to the mustache. Okay, so now that we have both sides cleaned up on the cheeks, we've defined the shape of the top of the beard, I'm going to go into the mustache. Now, if you want to grow your mustache out and have that nice, full, thick, luxurious mustache, just know that there's going to be daily grooming and maintenance to train that to get it to grow in the way you want. When mine gets about to this point, I need to trim it because it seriously gets in the way of eating and things like that. So again, I prefer just to use my beard and mustache trimmer. You can put, I do have, guards for it. You can put guards on it if you want. I tend to just freehand. So what I will generally do is I will start right here in the center of my mustache, and I will bring in, and I will bring and trim my mustache back as far as the length and where it's growing out, to bring it back to the top of my lip. So you can see right here that first one is kind of sets where I want to trim up. I can always adjust and go a little more if I need to, but you want to start with it a little bit further and then take a little more as you need. So with that, that's got our first start. So then I will move down to the sides. So now that we have this line, I like to bring it on down to the corner here and kind of clean that corner up a little bit, so that way, because my problem is I tend to get, like when I'm eating, this kind of gets caught and gets dragged in and munching on your mustache. So we can try to clean up your lines, and then we'll move into shaping a little. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. So now I've got this big bushy mustache. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and just lightly bring it over the tops of the hair, just to kind of bring it, just to kind of pull some of that volume out, so it's not just tentacles. So. Okay, so now you can see I've trimmed it. Turn that off. So as you can see, I've trimmed it back to where it's now just above my lip line. I've trimmed the corners a bit so that way it's not catching when I'm eating. And then I've trimmed just a little bit off the ends here to kind of, and that more or less just kind of flattens it out, so it's not, like I said, so I don't have the whole tentacle bristle brush thing going on, so that just kind of makes it lay a little nicer to my face. So for me, that's generally about the most that I really need to trim. And like I said, with the there's different methods you can use. There's not really a right and wrong way. A lot of it depends on how you are personally wanting to style your beard and mustache. Now, one thing I will talk about, and something that I don't do very often, is just down here on the ends. So, as you let your beard grow out, you will have some that are, real long, some that are not quite as long, and it'll kind of look straggly. And when your ends start looking straggly, it's time to kind of trim it a little bit. And the whole idea is that is to trim it and shape it, so that way your beard looks good. It looks full from chin to end. And again, my thing is I kind of freehand things, and I don't see where there's a whole lot you could do as far as a guide for this. But generally, if I find that my ends are looking straggly, I'll just take this here, and then I will just real gently, real slowly, just work it back through my beard like this, and just let it snip a little at a time. And doing that, you're going to take a little bit of length. So if you're growing for length, you may be hesitant about doing it, but it's worth taking that quarter to half inch off to have a really nice looking beard than trying to go let the little looking straggly, but you've got that extra half inch of length. Your beard's going to look so much better if you'd be willing to sacrifice that little bit of length to get a good full volume through your entire beard. Now, with shaping the ends here, like I said, I tend to be like a more angular cut, everything squared off. If you want to, you could take and you could actually go through, and with your beard brushed out, you could actually take and kind of round the bottoms up here to kind of give that more classic rounded shape to your beard. Like I said, I prefer a little bit more angular look, but that's really about all there is to it. And it's not, and like I said, unlike with maintaining a clean shaven look, I do this maybe every 2 weeks. I'll go through and kind of clean up the tops. I'll take and trim my mustache back when it starts getting a little too long. And like I said, if you've got a short to medium length beard, this undersection of your neck, if that's visible with your beard, it will go a long ways to making you look a lot, looking a lot more well groomed and more professional looking with a beard, to take that little bit of extra time to go through and clean up the neck area, so that way everything's just neat and tidy. Now, like I said, if you've got the long beard, that's not really an issue, because nobody's ever going to see it. But in a nutshell, that's how I go about grooming and trimming up, all the little tips and tricks that I can think of. Bonus tip: take your little trash can for your bathroom, and when you're trimming, I like to do it in front of a mirror because it makes it so much easier to see what you're doing than trying to do it blind. And I will take that little bucket and I'll set it in the sink right underneath me to try to keep the mess down. And then when I'm done, I'll put everything up. And fellas, don't make it look like you shaped Chewbacca. Clean up after yourself, and your partner will be so much happier with you if you will, kind of, put in the little bit of effort it takes to take care of yourself, even if they don't particularly, even if they're not 100% enthused with you having, a massive beard. If you take care of it well, they will generally be okay with it. Because most people, when you have a lot of facial hair, for most people, it's that unkempt hobo look. That, they're just like, nope, nope, you need to shave that off. But if you take care of it, keep it washed, keep it trimmed, then you will look a whole lot more presentable. So that's all I got for you this time. I want to thank everyone for watching, and we will see you later.